everybody. Welcome back for the third episode of the Golden Breakdown. I'm one of your hosts, Brock Riney, joined by Derrick Pond. We're very sorry that we missed last week, but Derrick almost died, so he's still here, so that's a bonus. So, Derrick, why don't you tell everybody what was going on? He seemed upset. I told you to stop kissing the mailman. He's always got a boyfriend.
Just lucky to be alive. I said 6 to 8 weeks he'll time. I know James Conner up there, but it's gonna be good. I'm lucky to be alive, so I'll take a second.
Well, dude, we're just happy that you're okay, man. Obviously, I think everyone's going to completely understand that you missed a week. Just don't ever do it again. Otherwise, there'll be a mutiny on our hands. So let's start off the show like we normally do. What's new in the world of sports cards? What's coming out? What's hot off the presses? Where are we at right now, Derrick?
Actually, Gold Standard comes out tomorrow. So I'm not a big fan of Wednesday releases, but it's a Wednesday release. It's got very cool RPAs. It's got the cool 24 karat gold autos. They have gem autos. A lot of cool stuff in Gold Standard. It's probably my favorite product for a while. Elements comes out next week. It's okay. Elements is okay. I like the metal autos with the different colored ink. The autos really pop. But Gold Standard, in terms of how the RPAs look and the veteran hits, I like Gold Standard a lot more. I'm getting a case and a half, which is in my little group quite a bit. So I'm excited for Gold Standard. And then Elements next week. And then we've got some bigger, higher-end college products coming out. If you like college stuff, Immaculate and National Treasures are right around the corner. Baseball just had Topps Chrome come out, which is always cool. But yeah, basketball, I think Select comes out soon. That's basically what's going on right now. I'd say Gold Standard, if you're a football fan, jump in. Great veteran checklist. I think they're, like we talked about last time, they're beefing up the veteran and the legends checklist because the quarterback class isn't as good. So guys like Herbert, Burrow, Tua, they're going to have a lot of autos in this year's stuff too, which is pretty cool.
Now, did they always have the gems in Gold Standard? Or is that a relatively new addition? Because I can't remember ever hitting one of those. I mean, I've hit the gemstones in, Flawless and things like that, but I don't remember ever hitting one I watch a fair amount of breaks in the end. I don't even remember seeing them. Is that new this year or last couple?
Really short print. I think they're all at 10 or less. So you don't see a lot of them, but I think 2 years ago they started doing it. And
okay.
We pulled a Joe Montana, and I was like, wait a second, there's a diamond in this thing? Like, the only other product you're going to get that in is Flawless. So there's some cool higher-end potential with Gold Standard, too, with the diamonds.
No, there's that one other one. What's that called? Is it the $30,000 box or whatever the hell it is in football? Yeah, and Eminence, I think it's just a joke, man. It's like overly thick cards for the sake of them being thick, and they just don't even look that good. To me, Flawless is still going to be like the pinnacle, honestly, just because they're so clean. I just really like the really clean white cards.
The market for Eminence cards is not a market that I'll ever get into. I'll never be in that stratosphere. But Flawless stuff, I love Flawless.
Flawless is beautiful. It always is. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's go over to a little bit of fantasy football talk. So 2 weeks in, before we jump into anything else, any observations you got? Other than that you're kind of miserable as a Colts fan.
Kind of miserable.
Right?
It's ugly. It's ugly. The Cowboys got to win with Cooper Rush, and we can't even get a win with Matt Ryan against the Jags. So
Matt Ryan looks rough, bro. I'm not going to lie. That man does not look very good right now.
There's a couple things working against him. One, our offensive line is terrible. He's getting sacked left and right.
Absolutely.
And two, we don't have a good receiving core, and we were down our best two receivers.
Yep.
And so we got to help the guy out. Jonathan Taylor had 5 touches in the first half. That's unacceptable. I mean, he's the best running back in the league.
Yeah, so he just is. Unquestionably the number one. All right, so let's do this then. All right, let's go through the guys that are 0-2 and the guys that are 2-0. Let's just throw out where you think they're going to finish. Is that cool?
Yeah,
All right, Miami Dolphins 2-0 right now. How do you think they finish the end of the season? Are they for real? 6 TDs really going to happen?
I think the division's weak. I don't think the Pats will beat them.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Bills, who look
will
like
beat
the
'em.
Super Bowl champs already.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Dolphins are definitely a wild card team. I don't think they'll win the division. I don't think they can beat Buffalo, but anytime you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek,
They look like fire, right?
Yeah, you've got a chance when you got those two guys. So they don't have bad defense either. So
yeah, right.
Like the Dolphins. Actually, just took an NFL futures bet. You want to hear my bet that I just took?
Yeah, what do you got?
We're talking a little gambling here. I took Josh Allen to win MVP.
I like it.
Aiden Hutchinson to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he's
I like that
favorite.
too.
He's a very heavy favorite right now.
Yeah.
He had 3 sacks and 1 half last
well,
week.
He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know you'll like this one. Micah Parsons to win Defensive Player of the Year.
I don't see who's going to beat him right now. I mean, unless Aiden Hutchinson continues to do what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay, I can see that. I put Michael Thomas as mine this year.
Michael Thomas and C-Mac were both right there. But Saquon, as of now, is the favorite. And then, speaking of the Dolphins, I took Mike McDaniel to win Coach of the Year.
I think that's the easiest call of all of those because he absolutely will.
So this bet, the odds on this bet are crazy. It's $45 to win $102,000.
Oh my God!
All those have to hit.
But that's still a great bet. That's awesome.
But it's all the favorites right now after 2 weeks, and obviously injuries happen, things happen. The one I'm most scared about, I think, is the Saquon Barkley.
That's going to be the toughest. Although Barkley's looked good so far.
He has.
I mean,
I think
now he's playing the Cowboys next, though, so he's going to have 45 yards and 2 fumbles. Just being honest with you.
I really like Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Allen, Micah Parsons, and Myles Garrett will probably be battling it out for Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, the Cowboys are going to be relying on defense for the next 9 weeks, realistically. I mean, so he's going to get to go, and he's going to go as much as they can send him until he gets tired. No doubt about that, right?
You gotta shoot your shot sometime.
Dude, that would be amazing if it hit too. That would be fantastic. Yes. So, I mean, that's what I would have done too, though. I mean, you want to go for those, but dude, I mean, the numbers are just against you. Never did check, but I was totally fine when he was like, "No, I'm cashing out." I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's probably just the right way to go, dude." Hurt your feelings, right? Guaranteed. Yeah, who cares? All right, are you panicking with the Tennessee Titans being 0-2? Right, well, yeah, of course.
I think
it really is. The Jags are leading that division just because they didn't tie.
Not just because I'm a fan. I think the Colts will figure it out. Our top 2 receivers were down. Darius Leonard was down. If we figure out the O-line a little bit and give Ryan some time, it'll be better. Frank Reich teams, for whatever reason, always start slow. If you remember last year, the Colts were horrible in the first 4 weeks. Everybody was writing them off. And then
But what is it about Jacksonville? What is it about Jacksonville that just has the Colts number?
I don't know. And I think at this point, it's just like a pressure thing because I think we're expected to beat them and we never do. And so, there's an immense pressure to do it now. And I think that's part of it. And the Jags are playing with house money every time. They're relaxed. Just, 10 times in a row or whatever. So.
And they're just expected to lose.
If I were the Titans, I think I would start to panic a little bit. I just don't think they're very good, to be honest.
All right,
I think they could be the 4th best team in the division.
Yeah, absolutely. They really could be. Anybody in that division, though, could be the fourth best team in that division. Just being honest, because the Texans aren't really all that bad. I mean, they're just not all that good.
Texans
All right, that's the other thing. They are
weapons, so.
AFC West Raiders. Are we panicking?
No.
Derek Brock kind of looks like he sucks.
I would not panic. I would be panicking about the offensive line.
Yeah.
If any line has looked worse than the Colts, it's been the Raiders.
Right.
But they should have won the game last week. They played the Chargers tough. I think the Raiders will figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see. But that is just one of those teams that has a history of when they start bad, man, they just stay bad.
Yeah.
There's very few times I've ever seen them go 0-3 or 1-4 and make a real great comeback. They either start really hot and tail off like they have done the last couple of years, or it's this way, and I don't know, man. They might just get buried, and then that whole thing's going to get broken up. Might see Devontae and him go back over to Green Bay. Who knows, man?
If I'm looking at those first three teams, I'd say the Titans probably should
scary team. Yeah. Yeah, and Derrick Henry definitely looks like a shell of himself. And I don't know if that's the O-line or just the bad quarterback play or also just getting down so quickly to where you just have to abandon the run game. But he's just not one of those guys that I'm trading for. I traded him away, actually, after week 1 to go get a bunch of young depth that I just knew. I had in my heart that I was like, I love Derrick Henry, but I'm still going to have to just let him go. I saw week 1. I just don't see the same guy that I used to see. Time to move on, man. Move him on to greener pastures. If you can go flip him right now for a bunch of players who are underperforming, that is one of my recommendations. Go do it as quickly as you can.
And I've always said this about him. I've seen him. If you can make him make a cut and before he gets up to full speed, he is not that good of a running back. He is a one-cut downhill guy. And a lot of teams they're just blitzing the heck out of the Titans and saying, okay, if we can make Henry change directions in the backfield, he's not nearly as good. And Ryan Tannehill's not good against the blitz, so it's a win-win. Blitz.
It's been pretty rough over there. All right, so flipping over to the NFC. So NFC East, both the Eagles and the Giants are 2-0. I'm a believer in the Eagles. They look fantastic. I'm not a believer in the Giants because of Daniel Jones. Your take?
I would agree. I think the Eagles are really good. I think the Giants are better than they were last year, but I don't think they're very good.
I think the Eagles are a clear runaway in that division with Dak out. I mean, they had no business beating the Bengals. Realistically, the Bengals beat themselves. And Cooper Rush wasn't terrible, but he just wasn't an elite quarterback or anything like that. The NFC North, I don't know what to make out of this. Everybody's 1-1. Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears. I am the least in favor of the Chicago Bears. I think that they are a terrible team this year, and how they won a game is beside me. I'm a big believer in the Lions, big believer in the Packers, don't believe in the Vikings. What about you? Yeah, that's true.
I don't know about primetime games, but he is terrible.
Well, his next game is against the Lions, too. So it's going to be a divisional game. Man, I'm taking the Lions all day. So look at it this way. The Lions played the Eagles week 1, and the Lions scored 35 points on the Eagles. The Eagles played the Vikings week 2, and the Vikings scored 7 points. Meanwhile, the Lions scored 36 again. And honestly, if Jared Goff was even remotely accurate, the Lions probably were going to score 50 in that game. They've actually shown they've got a good offense. Like you said with Aiden Hutchinson, they got a good defense too. I would 100% bet for the Lions this weekend. Yep. Right. Amon-Ra sure slowed that up, though, man. I've been on his like love train all offseason. I only got him in 2 of my 7 leagues, too. It really pissed me off. I was targeting him in every single one, and one guy took him in the 3rd round, man. It was too early at the time based on draft value, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Let me see real quick. That's the beauty of having the intranets. It is the at Vikings. Home for the Vikes. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions all day. Okay, NFC South. Somehow the Buccaneers are still 2-0. Saints are 1-1. Panthers and Falcons are 0-2. Who are you panicking about? Yeah. Yeah. Well, so did the Falcons, though. They've made some good comebacks. And Drake London looks legit. Yeah. I think he's just been overrated since day one so far. I haven't seen anything that makes me think that he's anything special. Like, he's put up Mike Gesicki numbers at best. Like, show me the game where he was some sort of, like, 3 TD monster. Even then, he wasn't that many. I mean, I think Higbee probably out caught him last year, probably out receptioned him and yards as well. Like, who gives a crap? There's a difference between a guy who gets drafted in the 3rd round and one who gets drafted at the end of the draft or 11th, 12th, 13th, you know? In the end, who cares? Unless you're in some sort of like long-term dynasty league. But at this point, man, I'd be selling him right now too, even in dynasty leagues, trying to get somebody who just was still infatuated with him. Because I'm just not seeing the production. Really just not there. Yeah, it is. Evans is now out for a week. He got suspended for a week. Godwin may be back. Oh, you hear that they signed Cole Beasley, though, this week. Yep, yep. Yep. It's a great signing. And if you got to stream somebody in like DraftKings or anything this weekend, I think Cole Beasley is an easy play if he's going to suit up this week. If he does, Evans is out. He's going to get those receptions. And we don't know if Julio's going to play because he didn't play last week. He was a late scratch for whatever reason. All right, last division over here. So, yeah, it's like a cricket. Yeah. They're just trying to tell you that you're not that funny. All right, NFC West, last one. San Francisco 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, all 1-1. Everybody's the same.
Oh, man. The Cardinals, outside of a quarter and a half, the Cardinals are real bad. Should be 0-2, but had a crazy comeback. I do have a little hope for them, though, just because of their roster.
And D-Hop coming back in week 7.
Yeah, they haven't had Rondale.
Right.
James Conner was a little banged up, but
Have a cat.
they've got some players on that defense, man. They're fast.
Yeah.
So I got hope for the Cardinals. Seattle, I don't think they're going to go anywhere this year. And who else did you say? Rams will probably win the division again.
49ers.
Oh, man. With Jimmy G, I like him more with Jimmy G, to be honest.
I mean, I kind of do too. I definitely like Brandon Ayuk a lot more now that Jimmy G's in the game.
Yeah,
But Kyler's also one of those guys I'm trading for right now. If I'm down, and I've just been having bad QB luck. So, like, Dak down, Trey Lance in 2 different leagues down. Jesus Christ, my cat's attacking me. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I lost him in 2 different leagues. So I'm having to, like, constantly pick up quarterbacks and everything. I finally just ended up making a trade. I traded away Darren Waller to get Kyler Murray in a league just because it's a keeper league. And the quarterbacks, you just can't get them. It's impossible.
It's a good trade, man.
He's not going to be that, right? All right, let me get back into our script. My cat is losing his damn mind. All right.
I got a cricket, man. We just got animals going crazy.
Can't help it, man. It's crazy. All right, let me pull this thing up over here real quick so I can have it in front of me. All right, so here's what I did for this week for a little bit of fantasy buy, sell, or trade. First four that I'm going to give you are players that I am absolutely selling, and there's good reason for it. And the first guy is kind of surprising because somebody in my league dropped the knowledge on me. Do you know who one of the top 3 quarterbacks are as far as fantasy points right now?
Quarterback?
He's number 3.
Top 3? Tua?
Yep. Nope.
Tua's not in the top 3 after that last game?
Nope.
It's got to be
He's there.
Josh Allen.
He's there.
My third guess would have been Tua.
Third one is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has already scored 69.5 points. If you have him, he's probably on your bench. Someone had someone get hurt. He's the perfect selling chip right now. You can sell him higher than you'll ever be able to get him. He got so many garbage time touchdowns. It's not always going to happen. And let's be fair, the Commanders are just really not that good of a team, and Wentz is really just not that good of a quarterback. They've just been playing from behind a lot. So he's my first. Go sell him as quickly as you can. If you can get it this week, do it. There's another couple quarterbacks that have been down.
All right. I see Brian Robinson, man. They were hyping him up so much.
I know, dude. It's so unfortunate.
They can run the ball and stay in some games. Because I think that's their problem right now is they can't run. So
yeah.
They're throwing a million times a game.
Dude, you got to chill out, Cat. The other guy that I've got as a sell right now is Alan Lazard. Just coming back from an injury, looked completely unimpressive. Even my Green Bay buddies are like, nope, he's just not getting it done. Move on. You could still probably get something decent for him. You're not going to get a lot, but sell him now. Sell him while you can before you're not going to get anything for him because sometimes it's just how that works. Corey Davis is another one of those guys. I think that he's a little big for his britches right now, realistically. I just don't see him continuing down that path. And really, I think Garrett Wilson's going to be the number 1 there. He's going to be the one getting all the touches. I just don't see it lasting. So while he's had a couple of good weeks, now's the time to go trade him. Maybe it's time to go get a running back that you're needing or upgrade at tight end or something in that manner.
I agree.
Last one to sell and sell right now is David Montgomery. He has actually had some good games, but the Bears are absolute dog crap. They are a dumpster fire, even though they're 1-1. I'm not a fan. Get rid of them as quickly as you can. People are looking for starting running backs. Try to do a 2-for-1 deal to where you can get a decent somebody like J.D. McKissick, who's getting decent yardage. He's getting decent looks right now, or Rashad Penny, someone who you're not going to get a high end guy for him, but you can usually try to partner a lower end running back and try to get some sort of like extra wide receiver kicker or tight end kicker as well on the way back. Guys, I'm trading for right now. Deebo Samuel. I know that Ayuk becomes Jimmy G's favorite target, but he's down right now. From where he was drafted, you're probably going to be able to trade 4th or 5th round value for a guy that probably went in the 2nd or 3rd most of the time in most drafts. You're not going to get him for a gigantic steal, but you're going to get him lower than what his ADP was at the beginning of the year. Same thing can be said for CeeDee Lamb, who's next on the list. Not a big game week 1. But he's getting a ton of targets, and he's just going to continue to get targets. He's either going to get hurt or he's going to get all the targets. It's going to be one of the two, though. And I just don't know which one it is yet, so I want to get him before all the targets get eaten up and he ends up getting hurt, which I hope he doesn't, because obviously I'm a Cowboys fan.
Especially some more carries.
Yep.
There's going to be less QB read option stuff with Garoppolo. So I think there'll be more outright carries for running backs and Deebo.
Mm-hmm. Other guys, Joe Mixon. Bengals have looked terrible for the first 2 weeks, but I am such a big proponent of buying a really good talent, even if the team is really bad. Not drafting a really bad talent on a bad team, but I'm a big fan of buying them on a bad team because you can typically get them for the 65, 70% discount, If you can pay 75 cents on the dollar for a Joe Mixon, you just do it because he's going to get the carries and he's going to get PPR receptions. I would be trying to target him. A lot of those owners may be 0-2 right now. And those are definitely the guys to go target because there's a lot of panic trades that happen after week 2. And then last one, just because he got suspended, Mike Evans. Somebody's going to need to move him. Somebody's going to start 0-2, and they just can't afford to go 0-3. And if you're sitting 2-0, it gives you a strategic advantage to where you can take some of these risks that these 0-2 guys just flat out can't do. Because when you go 0-3 in a league, it really gets harder to make that playoff push, which, now with 17 games, you're only going to really play 14 of those before they get into the playoffs, maybe 13, depending on your league. So you really got to think you got to get to that 8-9 win marker just to have a chance to be sure that you're going to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, those are my trade fours as well. Anything against those?
No, man. I think the Bucs offense will get it figured out. It's going to be about who can stay healthy for them, but Mike Evans is the best of the bunch, so
I agree. All right, so I also have 4 more, though, but I'm just going to ask you. I'm just going to give you the player. You tell me if you're buying or selling. All right? So first guy, Garrett Wilson. Buying or selling? If you don't have him, are you going to go after him? And if you do have him, are you going to flip him for something for extra stuff? Just not a believer long term? Or just hoping that you can get the best return on him?
Just kind of hoping I can get the best return.
After a big game.
Zach Wilson is coming back soon. We don't know what
right.
he'll do. Could be good, could be bad. He could target Corey Davis and Elijah Moore. We don't know. So
right.
A lot of unknown there. He's young. I'd try to flip him for a more steady player, probably.
Okay. Next one, Aaron Jones. You buying or you selling?
Man, I was selling him before the season because of AJ Dillon, but
I did too.
He still looks good.
Yep.
Jones has some pop. Not a lot of guys have. He's so quick.
And he can catch really well too.
He does, and they don't have a lot of receivers. So I'm probably buying Aaron Jones, even though I'll admit I was a little down on him to start the season. But they're going to run a lot, and they've shown that they're going to use both of them. So I like Aaron Jones.
I'm the same way. I'm definitely a buy on him, and I did the exact same thing. I really only had him in one league, and I sold him to a buddy of mine who he's a Green Bay Packer fan, and I got a first-round pick out of him in D-Hop, and I was like, yeah, my team's good enough that I can wait 6 weeks for D-Hop to be here. And the only problem is in a 5-man keeper league, that turns out to be like a 6th-round player, and Darnell Mooney has not been good. So I don't think I won that trade. I think I significantly lost it in the end. It is what it is. All right, 2 more for you. Travis Etienne.
Man, that's tough.
Running backs are short this year.
James Robinson.
Yep.
I took James Robinson as my 4th running back as a flyer. He's been my best running back. He scored both weeks, right? Yeah, he scored.
Oh yeah. He scored both weeks.
He's just a good runner, man. He's not the pass catcher that Etienne is, but pure running out of the backfield, James Robinson looks really good. So.
Literally after week 1, when Dak went down, I traded Derrick Henry away, and I got James Robinson, Gabe Davis, and Kirk Cousins for him. I was like, at the time, people were like, you just gave up way too early. Now I look like a genius after week 1. Yes, even though Gabe Davis didn't play yet, but who cares, man? Oh, yeah. So last one for you. Derek Carr, buying or selling? If you need a quarterback, are you going to go after him, or are you going to go to the waiver wire? It's tough in some leagues, right? Especially 2 QB leagues. It's just really rough.
I think they're still going to be a pass-heavy team and might be down and throwing a lot. So I still like Carr for fantasy purposes. If they get the offensive line figured out, they'll be fine.
Yep. All right. That's all I had for those. So we got one more segment, which is our mailbag questions, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, my guy. All right. Well, I got 3 of them for us this week. Again, thanks, everybody, for putting your mailbag questions in. You can do that at the Golden Eagle Facebook page. We'll put that link in this episode description. So the first one comes from Dean Perry, and he says, if you could start a franchise tomorrow, who would you choose as your QB with the first overall pick of everyone available, and why? Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Lamar, Hurts, whoever your pick would be, and why? And if you say Matt Ryan, you're off the
I think I would say Josh Allen is definitely the most versatile. In terms of being able to run and throw at an elite level, he's a better runner than Mahomes. But I still think Mahomes is a more accurate thrower and can make some more difficult tight window throws. Josh Allen has a cannon and can make those long down the field throws, but so can Mahomes. I just think as a longevity play, I think Mahomes will last a little longer because he doesn't run like a fullback. But Josh Allen may be more exciting here in the near future, but I think overall length championships, I think Patrick will probably end up with the better overall career, if I had to guess.
I think I'm on the opposite side. I would have probably said Mahomes for the past several years, but Allen just looks like he's on a whole different level comparison-wise, honestly, in my opinion. And the fact that he is so big, I think actually does make him a little bit more durable than Mahomes, simply because he can take a shot, and Mahomes will get hurt a little bit quicker than Allen will. This cat is all over, man.
So it's a tough choice for me.
I get it. I think it's 1 and 1B, 1 and 1A.
I think in the short term, I like Josh Allen the next 4 or 5 years. But I think, like I said, when their legs start to go, I think Mahomes will be a better pocket passer, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like you said, 1 and 1B. I don't think we're, yeah, they're both Hall of Famers, no doubt about it. 100%. 100%.
Justin Herbert too, I think, eventually.
You think so? What about Lamar? Do you think that he stays going? He is so dynamic right now.
Every time I get down on Lamar, he just proves me. So
I know. Remember when everyone said that he couldn't throw? And everyone did. He's like, he's just a running back. And he kind of was for his first year, and then he learned how to throw. Like when Happy Gilmore learns how to putt. I have a cat that does not get out.
I think Lamar may have the most ability to carry a bad team.
I agree with that.
Even more than Allen and Mahomes.
Yes, because he can put it all on his shoulders. Yeah.
And
he can be everything.
Alone can just take you places. So
I'm just really waiting for him to throw it to himself. That's the last thing he's got to do. Just throw it up, go catch it on the 50, Lamar. Yeah. I know. All right. Last question comes from Andrew Yee. Colts, Bengals, Niners, Packers, and Cowboys. They'll be fine or time to panic. Pick one that they'll be fine. Pick one that you're going to panic on.
Who are they again?
Colts, Bengals, Niners, Packers, Cowboys.
Man, I don't want to say Colts, but I feel like I might have to.
My panic is the Colts.
Out of those, maybe as bad as we've looked, the only thing that gives me a little hope is we've been so bad in the first 4 weeks every year with Frank Reich. But I think there might be a little panic in Cowboy land too.
Oh yeah. I basically declared our season over before the Bengals game.
But I actually think the Cowboys defense is highly underrated. So you never know.
Yeah, it is. We could win a couple games by defense and Turpin running a, kick or two back. I could see that.
Bengals are also kind of a question mark
Panic.
too because their offensive line has looked just as bad as the Colts. Burrow's been sacked.
They allowed 6 sacks in both games. The Bengals did. You can't do that. You got to give Burrow some kind of time.
They went out and signed a bunch of new guys, so they're learning how to play together. I think they'll get it figured out, but we'll see.
So who's going to be fine out of those 5? Colts, Bengals, Niners, Packers, Cowboys.
I I think the Packers.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that's the closest one out of all of them. I think has the best shot to go to playoffs.
They can run and play defense, and Aaron
You still got Rodgers. Yeah.
Maybe the best thrower of the football we've ever seen. So.
Yep. I agree, man. Mine. Sadly, it's definitely panic for the Colts. Very close for the panic of the Cowboys too, man. But at this point, I'm not panicking. I've already decided that it's over. So everything that happens from this point forward is just positive progression, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll do this to Matt Ryan, but if the Colts don't figure it out, I think we have to give Sam Ehlinger a look. As good as he's looked in preseason,
I think you got to give anybody a look. If Matt Ryan keeps looking like Matt Ryan right now.
Well, I mean, if we can't block, we need somebody that's mobile. And
yep.
Ehlinger, I mean, we signed Nick Foles, who has been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl. Not saying he's great, but Sam Ehlinger beat him out for a backup job, which is saying something.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We've kept him around for 2 years, and when we've had good quarterbacks on the roster, and we kept an extra quarterback last year because we liked him so much. And so I think if we're like 2-6 and out of the race, which I don't think will happen because our division's so bad, but if that is the case, I think you got to start at least saying, hey, see what he's got. We'll see.
Why not? Because the season's lost at that point as it stands, you know. Mm-hmm. And then you got to start wondering how quickly are they going to start shutting down JT? Because at some point you're just not going to want to run him if there's no real reason for him.
Right.
Which is sad for all fans.
We're 2 weeks in talking about this.
I'm sorry. Well, it'll be better next week, I promise.
So here's what's weird, and this is what happens in the NFL all the time. So we play the Chiefs week 3.
Oh gosh!
Your initial thought is, oh god, we're gonna get blown out. Watch the Colts come out and win this game.
It could happen too, and you're right, because it is such a closer league than what we make it out to be as fans. We're like, oh, it's just the Chiefs, we're done. No, I mean we're not that far away.
The Chiefs opened at 8.5, and the line already got bet down to 6.5. Like people are betting the Colts, so it's like, I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll get beat, but.
Yeah, I mean, but I do like those odds. If it was 8.5, I would have taken the Colts there. That's not a bad play. I mean,
Jags beat us by more than that. So.
Yeah, but again, Leonard's coming back. I think Pittman plays this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's a big difference, obviously, and Darius Leonard's just a force. So having him back on the field is just a big difference on defense too. That's going to give Mahomes a lot more problems.
Yeah, maybe like the Cowboys for a game.
Right. Yeah, it's a huge difference in just your whole defensive game plan and what you can do and what you can restrict. So, yeah, I mean, I'm –
receiver going into Sunday was Ashton Doolin.
Ashton Doolin.
Probably don't even know who that is.
No idea.
Paris Campbell. People know that name, but –
yeah, it's the same name?
He's terrible.
No, he's not very good.
So, I'll give Matt Ryan a pass last week. We'll see what happens this week. If we come out and beat the Chiefs, I'll have a little. We can redo this segment after week 3.
We'll do a burial next week. Sounds like a plan. All right. So that's everything for this week, guys. Episode 3 in the books. I'm going to try to get this thing edited and out as quickly as possible before the games this week. But if you have any other questions, like I said, hit us up on the Facebook group, Golden Eagle Breaks. Hopping some breaks out there. Gold Standards coming. And then we got Elements next week. And then we will hit you guys up next week for some more fantasy stuff. Talk to you guys later. Good talking to you, Derek. Careful of that shoulder, bro.